So I started wearing bow ties in 1969. When you're in pediatrics, the long ties would be pulled on by children when I was trying to look in their ears. But worse, every time I examined the little boys, they would pee on the tie. And I wasn't making enough money as an intern. I signed a contract for $4,000 a year to be an intern in pediatrics.
The first time I remember actually meeting him and talking with him was right after he was named dean. And so my first meeting, I spent quite a long time putting together a whole long list of, so welcome to the dean's office, you know, here are the 3,000 issues that need to be solved by tomorrow. We had that meeting at the Kemp Center, in his office in the Kemp Center, and I think he was thinking, oh my God, what am I getting into?
I got into it as acting dean because they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was sitting at the Kemp Center on July 2nd of 1990 when I got a call from the chancellor, Bernie Nelson, and he said, the dean's resigned, I need to talk to you about who should be acting dean. Could you stop by the house on your way home? And he said, please don't say no to me. Why don't you go talk to your family? Let's have breakfast tomorrow, we'll try again. So the next morning I had breakfast with Bernie, who said, what'd your family say? And I said, well, Mary's supportive. My son wants to know if I get a raise in a car. He said, actually, you get both. And I said, what the heck, I can do anything for a year or two.
Our friendship has started a long time ago. Most of the time Dick has been dean. I haven't been in the dean's office, so it really has been fun to come back and work directly with Dick. But mostly I think all of us watch Dick from a distance and marvel at his ability to very patiently work through a lot of these very challenging, complex issues and bring them to successful conclusion.
When Dick got his job and I got mine, and we met, we said, nobody lasts very long in either one of our positions. In a couple years, they're history. So if we want to do something to bring Denver Health and the School of Medicine closer together, we better do it fast. It was sort of funny that neither of us thought we'd make it past a couple years, and we both made it a couple decades.
Well, I've known Dean Krugman since 1979 when I arrived in Colorado at the Children's Hospital. Because of that, I've known him the entire time. He's served as dean 25 years, which is a record in this country for medical schools. So, you know, I guess he's sort of like the Peyton Manning of deanships in medical schools.
I never wanted the job in the first place. I don't measure success in my career necessarily in doing this. I've always enjoyed whatever I've done. There are other reasons, I suppose. Some would say I've never understood the problems.
Dick is collaborative and he's a consensus driver. He was always into making sure that people were on board, particularly his faculty. I think he did an extraordinary job making that faculty feel that they owned that school and that they worked together as a team, creating sort of that consensus enterprise that particularly academics love. We in the hospital aren't quite that way, but within the academic enterprise, that's very critical for success.
Part of the success, I think, comes from a pediatric and child abuse background. When you're trained as a general pediatrician, your assumption is that the vast majority of the time, things will get better without your intervention.
I think when you look at the campus, the integration that we have between the university and the hospital, do we always agree? Absolutely not. But that's part of any relationship. Do we work out issues? Absolutely. And I think the goal is to kind of continue to move the organization forward, and I think Dick has really been instrumental, not only in the bricks and mortar that's here on the campus, which is just spectacular and really a model, you know, throughout the country, but it really is how different organizations work together to achieve common goals.
I think that having a strong academic presence makes Children's Hospital really a great children's hospital. We're very blessed with the community we have who have supported that, but the hospital could not be where it is today without that. The faculty are extraordinary, and certainly Dean Krugman helped make that happen.
You know, he had a small leadership team, and he really empowered them to pursue their strengths and their expertise, and he gave us nothing but support and encouragement and a lot of latitude, really, to either fly or crash. but he was very supportive, and working with him has always been a joy. It's always about the other person. It was never about him. He was so generous with opportunities and giving people visibility and credit, and that's a very rare thing.
Please stay seated. No, all rise.
The thing about those meetings that is important to understand is that Dick uses those meetings as the opportunity to hear different points of view. It's very collegial, it's very open. People feel free to tell the dean what they think he needs to hear. Dick has often said that one of the disabilities with any big leadership job is that people tell you only what they think you want to hear.
Okay, what are the acute or chronic issues that we have to discuss today, Emer?
Dick has such a positive attitude toward people and such a deep sympathy for the kinds of things that motivate people and the concerns that they have. He's able to see that in a way that not a lot of other people can manage. And then he's able to see the humor.
I'm a fan of one-liners, like if your only support is above you, you're hanging. Now I can't remember any more Krugmanisms. Maybe that's a Krugmanism. No, I'm sure there's a whole list. When you're chronically fiscally hungry, it's hard to have good table manners. I'm amazed that people actually remember them.
Boy, we've heard them more than once.
Now, I've heard a lot of those jokes more than once, I have to tell you. But he has a great sense of humor, and he keeps things in perspective better than anybody I know. I don't think there's anybody I've ever worked with in my career that keeps the world in perspective in a more healthy way than he does.
He's a pain in the neck. I mean, what else can I tell you? He has a great sense of humor. You know, he's just a wonderful person.
If you want to be respected as a leader, you can't take yourself too seriously. And I think his sense of humor enabled him to do that.
Well, Dick, I think for his next career, should go on to Trivial Pursuit or Jeopardy. I have never seen anybody with such retention in terms of dates and trivia about somebody, their title, something happened here, there, where, whatever. So I think he'd make a lot of money on one of those game shows, and maybe that's what he should be doing, in addition to going back to the Kemp Center.
Dick Krugman's probably one of the most important people we've ever had here at the university. He's driven the School of Medicine forward, and he's done a great job for the university, and can't thank him enough.
I call it a syzygy, is how things came together to make the decision the right time. The first was the right people are in place, Don Elliman, Lily Marks, to choose my successor, and I think they both have good taste. Second, I've got at least 5 or 10 more years of work to do in the child abuse field. And third, the work I was going to do back in 1990 in that field still hasn't been done, so there's still opportunity to do the study that I now want to do 24 years later.
Well, of course, I'm sad to see him go, but I know he wants to move on and get to Kemp, and, you know, Kemp's gain is our loss, and we understand that.
It'll be great to have him back. He's a great ambassador. He represents senior leadership in the field. He brings so much stature and passion and enthusiasm for his work, and he thinks we can fix this problem, and actually we agree on that. So it's great that we have someone else who can come by and be that kind of incurable optimist.
Dick Krugman is just a genuinely funny and nice man, but behind that humor is unbelievable wisdom and a lot of strength.
He's very straightforward, you know, and he always uses humor effectively and appropriately. Well, not appropriately all the time, but.
Dick is a very warm, caring person, and that comes through not just through his sense of humor. Dick has a way of transmitting to people the genuine concern that he feels, and one reason for that, of course, is the concern is very genuine and very heartfelt.
Dean Krugman has been a great leader for this medical school, but there's no doubt in my mind that without his passion, it wouldn't have been the same kind of leadership or the same level of excellence.
Dick Krugman has done an extraordinary job raising the bar of healthcare in Colorado.
He was the guy who started out in a bathroom office at Colorado General Hospital and wound up in the general's office and then went back to work.
I would say Dr. Krugman is a role model as a human being and as a leader.
It's the faculty and the administration and the staff here that made all of this stuff happen. I just was around, you know, providing space and resources to a fabulous group of people to do their work. So it's not my legacy, it's our legacy. The preceding was a paid political announcement. I'm Dick Krugman and I approve this message. So this tie, the CU tie, is of course the one for here, but this is the child abuse prevention tie. So we're making a transition here.